Hi, my name's Kathleen Casper, and I'm here to talk to you about Solid Rock Community School. I am the former gifted coordinator / gifted director who's worked with Solid Rock for many years. I actually started out there teaching on Fridays to do the Friday enrichment classes, and then it just evolved into me working with a lot of the gifted students and those who are twice exceptional, which means having gifted traits, but also having additional challenges. So I also have been the president of the Florida Association for the Gifted. I'm actually the immediate past president at this time, and I've worked with that organization for many years. I'm the former gifted education specialist for the state of Florida. I worked at the Florida Department of Education and got to work with districts across the state as well as teachers and families. I'm also the former director on the board of SENG, which is a national organization for gifted families and children, and actually birth all the way through adulthood and into the elder years. And I also have been a gifted consultant and work with schools and with families that hire me to do additional work to support their students and children. I'm also an attorney, and I work in family law as well as some property law and estate planning. And I'm an author of some gifted articles, books, and blog posts. So my role working with Solid Rock has been really various. I've done a lot of teaching. I've worked with the staff doing trainings and support. I've also been available for staff assistance, and recently have evolved into doing a lot of webinars and working with the different people that interact with the students every day. There are a lot of reasons why the role of a gifted coordinator or a facilitator is important in a school or a district. And so it's been really exciting for me to see Solid Rock reaching out, wanting this assistance, and engaging in the topic of gifted education. There's a lot of misinformation out there about what gifted really means, and that makes it very difficult to support students who are gifted in the school and in the community. So there are a lot of just characteristics that gifted students have that might be misunderstood as causing trouble, or maybe having underperformance or anxiety, frustrations, things like that. So when gifted students are not served well, those traits will show up, and teachers and other people working with students will sometimes take that personally, or think that those children or others are trying to be difficult on purpose, when really they're just reacting because they think a little bit differently than other people do. Giftedness is not necessarily just being good at everything. There's a lot of gifted people who struggle with different kinds of subjects. They might struggle with social emotional skills. They may be interested in one area, not interested in other areas, or just not have the experience or skills to be talented in different areas. So there's a lot of misinformation about that. When someone is gifted, it just means they're wired differently. There's something that helps them maybe process information faster, or they're very intense and they react differently to stimulus. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be academically proficient. So that's something that we focus on a lot, is helping them become more proficient, but also not expecting someone who might, wear the gifted label as being, someone who's capable of all these different things. And so one of the great things at Solid Rock is that nobody's really labeled with anything. And so we recognize gifted traits, but we don't necessarily make a big deal out of any kind of labels, and we just focus on what the students need. Giftedness actually can mask different abilities and different challenges as well. So a student who might have a challenge in the area of speech or any kind of other area or diagnoses, and you could have the giftedness not maybe show up as well because the child is doing a lot of other things to try and catch up in areas that their challenges create difficulties for them. And so you might not see that they're these amazing, brilliant people because you see the challenge first, or you don't maybe get to see the areas that they shine in as well because they're struggling with some difficulties. But it also works the other way. So sometimes you'll have a student that will come across as being super capable, doing a great job in class. They're good at being able to follow directions. They know their routines. They're able to get by at a certain level with their education, but they might be masking difficulties. So they might be working twice as hard as other students, or even, more, because they're dealing with challenges that are underneath, and competing with the gifted traits that they do have. So we need to be able to provide services for all of these students with different needs, different abilities, different interests, different challenges. And in order to do all of that, we need to be able to differentiate their learning. We need to know what they are interested in, what areas we can work on for them. And we need to also keep in mind that if we don't appropriately recognize those issues, their challenges and abilities and all of those things, that we might not be able to provide the exact level of support, of academic ability levels. And so in order to make sure we're supporting all of that, we have to be constantly balancing everything. And if we don't get that balance right, we might see that come across as students who are struggling. They might be acting out, they might be bored, they might feel extra frustration because they've been told all their life they're really smart, and all of a sudden something's very difficult and they don't want to do it because maybe it'll make them feel like they're not so smart if they have to work hard. We might have perfectionism, we might have misunderstandings by staff, and that comes across maybe as not maybe being as aware of their abilities in an area, or maybe the student feels like they're being challenged in a way that they're not comfortable. And so that's where we get misunderstandings of actions versus intentions. So the action of us asking like, well, hey, how come you didn't get this done? Might come across to a student as, boy, you really don't know what you're doing. When really what we mean is, hey, where do you need help? How can we assist? So those kind of misunderstandings can also cause additional friction in the classroom or between the relationships that they have with other people. And we also need to focus on their interests as much as we can. And so in order to find out what they're really capable of doing, we need to tap into that excitement they have for learning in different areas. And we need to get the students buy-in and their trust in order to provide that adequate support. So what I've really been excited about is being involved in a school like Solid Rock, where all of those things are not only talked about and trainings are provided, but people are actually genuinely interested in helping each student. So there's a lot of individualized support. We have class content that can be flexible and can be focused on, or we can focus on things that the students actually care about. We can do skills-based learning, and Solid Rock is amazing at doing skills placement. So students are evaluated based on what they know and what they need to know rather than their age or grade. And we don't talk about grades and who belongs in what class. We just mix the students up according to what they need, and nobody questions it. We also have extensive training on special needs and how to support those needs throughout the year. I would say Solid Rock does more training for staff in terms of how to best support students, what kind of skills we need to focus on for making sure that the teachers and everyone working with students are as up to speed on the latest research and everything they need to know in order to work best with each other, with the students, and to provide the best information and technology that's out there. We also have the benefit of small class sizes and a small school. So students aren't going to get lost in the shuffle. We have lots of people who know these students like family members, and that's a benefit that Solid Rock has over other schools, because Solid Rock is a family. It's a group of people who care a lot about each other, and people just aren't left out. So that can be a flawless, seamless support system without students being singled out. Everybody is being focused on it all the time. Everyone is provided with what they need, and there's no mystery there in terms of what level a student is at, what kinds of work they need, because the teachers are talking to each other and they're providing each other with cross-curricular support all throughout the year. We also are able to help those students shine for their talent areas. There's a lot of opportunities and different programs and projects where our students are able to shine and stand out in different ways. They can assist with different projects. They can be stars on the stage. They get to be just active in all different ways that they may not be as able to access in a bigger school as well. I really appreciate the out-of-the-box scheduling at Solid Rock. So on Fridays, the enrichment classes provide all sorts of opportunities for the students to engage in the community. There are all sorts of different speakers that come in, field trips they get to go on. There's all different things that keep the days and the weeks and the months very new and novel, which is what gifted students really need in their lives, because if things are always the same and routine, gifted students tend to find that less of a challenge, and sometimes that becomes an area where you might see some behavioral issues. And just in general, this gives them more opportunities to learn and to grow and excel. So, and those connections with the community are really important. So as they get older, they can continue in those relationships, those mentorships, those connections with the different community businesses and organizations and so forth. Another thing that's really great at Solid Rock is that Solid Rock actually is a Calm Classroom certified school. They provide yoga, exercise, and daily activities to allow reflection, and stress reduction. And this is an area that really benefits gifted students because they tend to think very deeply. They sometimes put a lot of effort into their days and really just need a way that they can relax and go into a calm space and think about the things that they've learned during the day and the things that they need to do to move forward in their subjects and in their friendships and all of that. So it's really important to have that quiet time, that relaxation, and really time for self-reflection, which is really important for gifted students and twice exceptional students as well. Solid Rock actually does have a website that you can go to, and you can check out more information about their health and wellness program. Another thing that's tied to health and wellness is the environmental connections that Solid Rock provides. So there's real world interactions that promote taking care of the planet and taking care of each other. And this is really important because gifted students often need to feel like they are making a difference, that they're doing things that are equitable, fair, that they're being caring, and that they're doing things that contribute to society. And so the programs that Solid Rock brings in and the connections they have with the community provide a lot of environmental advocacy connections. So it's really great for those kids. There's also a lot of opportunities for acceleration at Solid Rock. So I was really excited to see they offer dual enrollment programs, just like other schools in the area. If you were in public schools and worried that there may not be the same kind of access to dual enrollment, that's actually not true. Solid Rock does provide the access to the dual enrollment programs. They have early graduation programs. They have special projects and mentorships that these students can engage with. And then also just day to day, there's opportunities to have more depth and breadth of study, additional opportunities for tutoring, extensive access to the educators and other staff to assist with special projects and investigations. There's after school programs, there's Friday programming. Parent involvement is really high at Solid Rock, and there's also sports and volunteer activities. All of those things allow for gifted students to explore new things and to interact with different people and be really involved as much as they want to be involved. And sometimes they get to be pushed a little and encouraged because there's such good relationships between the staff and the students that, and they know when maybe a student needs a little bit of encouragement. So that's always great too. Solid Rock is not only thinking about the academics, but looking at the whole child. How can they create programming? How can they create environment and healthy opportunities for their students in just about every area? So that's something that they're promoting. They're not only just talking about it, they're living it. They're connecting with the environmental groups that also promote the green living. And so that's something that, you know, is unique about Solid Rock and provides these gifted students with yet another way that they can think about the way that they contribute to the world and how they are able to make a big difference. So in summary, I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I'm a firm believer in Solid Rock Community School. I'm really excited about the programming that they offer. I think it's one of the best just all encompassing programs for gifted students, for twice exceptional students and students in general. I've been a big fan ever since I met Eric and Michelle, and I learned about their unique approach to learning that was more than just the academics and testing and data-driven work. They do all of that. There's definitely a lot of data involved and a lot of research and best practices. But the focus is on who the students are as individuals and how they can support them. I look forward to another great year with Solid Rock, and I'm proud to be a part of this wonderful school. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please let the school staff know, and they know how to get a hold of me, and I can assist. All right. Have a great rest of your year. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.